Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nick with the Zealer Group, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about EMDs or Earnest Money Deposits, what an EMD really is, how they affect your guys' offers, and what happens when you need to get one back. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about earnest money deposits and what they actually are. So an EMD is also known as a good faith deposit. Is typically anywhere from about 1 to 3% of a purchase price on a home. And what it does is essentially a deposit made by the buyer to ensure to a seller they are, number one, serious about making an offer, and number two, to prevent the buyer from backing out for something that's not a contingency in an actual purchase agreement. So let's say you're in a contract and the buyer says, hey, you know what? I no longer want the house and I'm going to go and default on the agreement. That earnest money deposit could go to the seller to protect them from a buyer making an offer with false intentions. Now, let's unpack that a little bit and get into when a buyer would actually lose an earnest money deposit. So there's three main contingencies in a standard purchase agreement here in Michigan specifically. The first contingency you're going to have typically is a home inspection contingency, where you're going to go out and you're going to bring a third-party inspector to analyze the home. In the event you find anything in the property that you don't like or that caught you off guard or you simply want to renegotiate, you have the right to release the purchase agreement and have that EMD turned in back to you. The second main thing that protects you is what we call an appraisal. Now, if the property were not to appraise for said purchase price and you can't come up with a difference, or you decide not to come up with a difference, you have the right to walk away from the contract with the EMD being returned back to you. Also, if you get denied for financing for something that was beyond your control by your lender, that's also a situation that the EMD would come back to you. But if all those three things go smooth, you could be at risk of losing your earnest money deposit, and you want to have a conversation with your real estate professional. Now, let's talk about how they're actually impacting your guys' offers when you're submitting homes. So if you're going into a multiple offer situation in today's market, which most buyers are, we're seeing sometimes 10 to 15 offers. An earnest money deposit can be a way that you show the seller that you're very serious about purchasing the home. So the higher you have above the average is going to make a seller take your offer much more seriously. For example, let's say you're buying a $100,000 house and the standard earnest money deposit is $1,000. Now let's say you say, well, I want to show the seller that I'm very serious. I'm going to put a lot of money in an escrow account that's being held by another party, so it's coming out of my bank account, and I want to show how serious I am about buying the home. I could say I'm going to do a 5% deposit, which is 2% above the market average, and that deposit is going to be $5,000. That is a great way for you to make your offer stand out and show that you're serious about purchasing the home. So earnest money deposits, a very tricky subject for a lot of buyers. If you guys have any questions or anything you want me to get into and answer for you, drop a comment below or send me a message directly and I'm happy to help. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great day.